started. Vice Mayor, would you mind doing a pledge?
No problem.
Please turn to face the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we've got invocation by Mark Wadka.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this opportunity for this meeting. And I pray for wisdom. I pray for discernment, Lord, that you would just make this meeting what you want it to be. I pray, Father, for this community, that you would pour out your blessing and that you would bless every family that's here, Lord. I pray for peace in our world, but right here in this community. I pray that you would bless our students as they're off for the summer. And Lord, I just pray for continued blessing of tourism and other economic factors. Father, thank you for everybody who serves this city and Lord, whether they're risking their life or doing other jobs, Lord, we pray that you would watch over and protect them. Lord, thank you for our teachers and for others, Lord, that maybe are from this community serving in the military. Pray that you'll watch over them and just keep them safe. Thank you, Lord, for the freedom that we have, and we pray that you would help us not to take it for granted. And I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Commissioner Jackson. Here. Commissioner Hutcherson. Commissioner Tumulty.
Here.
Vice Mayor Williams.
Here.
Mayor Capizzi.
Here. I pushed my speaker button, so now you can hear me. Let's see. We get a motion for the agenda.
Proclamation.
Oh. We got the agenda first.
Yeah. I'll make a motion. A second.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes 5-0. I have a special presentation. And here we go. This is for Aging Matters in Brevard. And Kimberly Butler, Senior Director of Human Resources, is here. She's going to say something after we read this proclamation. All right. Whereas Aging Matters in Brevard, originally known as the Community Service Council, was incorporated as a not-for-profit organization on June 7th, 1965, and today promotes the independence, health, safety, and quality of life of seniors countrywide. And whereas Aging Matters is now the leading agency providing direct services to seniors across Brevard County and is kicking off its 60th anniversary 2025 through 2085 Champions Initiative on July 1st. And whereas having grown alongside Brevard County, now employs more than 90 staff members and mobilizes more than 800 volunteers who drive more than 400,000 miles. And whereas together, staff and volunteers, with support from a myriad of supporters, providing life-changing services annually to hundreds of seniors countrywide, including 79,000 hours of companionship, respite, socialization, safety, and wellness checks, and light housekeeping in 2024. And whereas prepared more than 425,000 meals at its Brevard Community Kitchen and distributed them daily through its Meals on Wheels program, weekly at 13 seniors at lunch community dining centers, and monthly providing pet food to 160 clients through Pets on Wheels. And whereas installed 178 ramps and 2,100 grab bars, operated the Sunflower House, which provides critical caregiving support, recruited RSVP retired senior volunteer program volunteers for its own and many other organizations, and conducted bone builders classes for 370 seniors to prevent osteoporosis. Sorry about this. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Cocoa Beach of Brevard County, Florida, does hereby recognize and commend Aging Matters in Brevard for 60 years of distinguished service to the citizens, and particularly the senior citizens of Brevard County, and congratulates the Board of Directors and leadership team for a job well done. Ordered and adopted in this regular session, 19th day of June in 2025. A witness hereof, I have hereunder set my hand this 19th day of June 2025.
My name is Kimberly Butler. I'm the Senior Director of Human Resources, and I have the privilege of serving Aging Matters in Brevard as their HR Director. I also have Allison Adler here tonight, who is the RSVP Program Director, and we're here on behalf of CEO Tom Cameron-Dinner, who's tied up with another event tonight. However, he did put together a few words for me to share with you. It's a true honor to accept this proclamation from the City of Cocoa Beach, recognizing the 60th anniversary of Aging Matters in Brevard. In 1965, a group of community leaders, much like yourselves, came together to create the Community Services Council of Brevard County, which later evolved into the nonprofit we know as Aging Matters in Brevard. That same year, the Older Americans Act was signed into law, creating a national network to support older adults living independently for as long as possible. At the very beginning, Aging Matters had been a part of that national effort, leading the way locally with programs like Meals on Wheels, transportation, in-home personal care, and caregiver support. Today, we're proud to serve thousands of seniors across Brevard County, and many of the services we provide are not only life-changing, but in most cases, life-saving. As we celebrate 60 years of service, we're taking a moment to reflect on the champions, past and present, who've helped us get here. We're also looking ahead. On July 1st, we'll be launching our 2025 to 2085 Champions Initiative to identify and support the next generation of local leaders who will ensure that our seniors continue to age with dignity, safety, and independence. We also ask for your help in urging support on behalf of the Older Americans Act, which is currently up for reauthorization in Congress, because every dollar invested in Aging Matters in Brevard saves money and protects our seniors' quality of life. Thank you again for this proclamation, for your leadership, and most importantly, thank you for caring about the seniors of Brevard County.
Thank you. I have your proclamation here.
Yeah, thank you.
And I was wondering, actually, we might see if we can get you another one. Instead of where it says name of government, we can put Cocoa Beach on that. That way it's a little bit more official from us.
Thank
Okay.
you so much. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, you may.
My mother lived here in Cocoa Beach until she was 97. And I got with Aging Matters, Meals on Wheels, because, you know, a couple times a week, and then went to 3 times a week, you know, bring her a meal. She was so independent, you know, I don't need anybody, you know, but she really appreciated those meals. And it's not just the meal, it's for these people that are kind of basically shut in, that they get to actually have somebody show up that cares about them, to give them something to help them sustain their life. And I also got to go on a couple ride-alongs with the meal delivery people and as the city commissioner. And, you know, there's lots of people that were just, it just made their day to have somebody show up at their house and just be friendly and bring them a meal, and it just means a lot. And then again, I don't think we have anybody from the fire department here, do we? Oh, yeah, we have a kind of a concurrent program here in Cocoa Beach that kind of works with seniors that, you know, that helps them out. Come do health and wellness checks. They'll help them get equipment and stuff, you know, for their use, you know, on a loan. Even through Aging Matters, you know, my mom got a couple of grab bars that I could have done, but she's like, no, they said they'd do it. Let them do it. And I'm like, okay, you know. And there's no charge. So it's a great program, and I appreciate all you do. from personal experience.
Thank you. All right, do we have any public comments about items that are not on the agenda? All right, Janice, and then 3 minutes, name,
Is this
address.
CRA or not?
No, we're public comment right now for ours. And then just a reminder, we won't have public comment after the meeting unless this exceeds 30 minutes.
Okay, so I'm here to tell you, aging does matter. All right. First of all, I want to address the county budget that's affecting all of us. There's $125 billion in taxable property values. 46% of that is exempt or immune by religious or 501c3 exemptions, which means that $58 billion is exempt from taxes. Therefore, 44% of us, the rest of us, get to pay the $68 billion. And I think it's important that, even though we live in a municipality, that we all think about that, because, you know, Sheriff Ivey, we love him, but he never gets enough money. And there's a lot of talk about his trying to break the 3% tax cap, this budget. And we don't want to see that happen. So spread the word. The other thing that's important to Cocoa Beach is the Brevard County Planning Board met last week, and they're changing evacuation time to clearance time. Whereas it used to be, I think, like 18 hours, and it went up from 56 for the county to 61. But the hospital used to go 18 hours ahead of us. Now, you know also that until it's a Category 4, the only mandatory evacuation, if there is any before that, is the barrier islands, not the mainland. And I think that we all should be concerned that the level of service does not change, because we have two enclaves here, Snug Harbor and Avon by the Sea, and we can't control the density. And it's the density that's making that number get higher all the time. You know, many of us go 520 to 528, and you know, when you get to Hubert Humphrey Bridge, it goes from 3 lanes to 2 lanes going over that bridge. And even today, that is a big, big clog. So I wanted to bring that up, that you pay attention to some emails you'll probably be getting about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. Any other public comment about items that are not on the agenda? Come on up. Name and address. 3 minutes.
My name is Angela Cobb. I live at 1617 Minneman Causeway. I would just like to say that I think we should put something in the beach ordinance about the spray suntan lotion. It's blowing everywhere. It's getting in my face. I think they outlawed it in Australia and Europe already. And also, I have seen no sea turtle nests this year. So, I think it has to do with maybe the spray stuff. Not sure. But, I see other countries and other people banning it. Maybe we should just like put that into consideration.
Okay.
For an amendment to the beach ordinance.
Thank you. Thank you, Angela. Any other public comment? All right, let's move along. Staff reports.
Yes, in the past week, staff completed hurricane planning review exercise. CBNN has been sending out reminders to the public about getting ready for the hurricane season. We did special event planning meetings for Centennial Celebration, Cocoa Beach Air Show, and preliminary meetings on Surfing Santas, believe it or not. On behalf of Brevard County, GeoMar completed the beach lighting survey required for the beach renourishment project. There are numerous ocean-facing properties that will receive courtesy code enforcement notices.
AJ, your speaker's not on. Your mic's not on.
Now it is, huh?
Yep.
You don't want me to start over, do you?
Start over, gotta start over.
On behalf of Brevard County, GeoMar completed a beach lighting survey required for the beach renourishment project. There are numerous ocean-facing properties that will receive courtesy code enforcement notices. The enforcement of the beach lighting regulations falls to our code enforcement department. We've also are preparing to send out letters to all beach vendors requiring proof of continuing insurance. On land, the Indian Creek Drive has been added to the Cedar, Woodland, and Brevard Avenue and Second Street North flood evaluation project. The Brightwaters property is being cleared of material left there by a dredging contractor. The property then will be secured by a gate. Water Reclamation Department is doing 3D manhole inspections, looking for structural issues and leaks. They've completed 43 out of 1,246 manholes. I bet you didn't know there were that many. Funding comes from a $15 million state revolving fund. Reclaimed water demand is high and on limited availability, and the system is on restrictions. And finally, there was a thread on a local Cocoa Beach internet discussion site, I won't name the site, in which our development services technician, permit technician, Gidget VC, was showered with accolades.
Yeah.
So, well done, Gidget. That's it.
Thank you.
Go Gidget.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, I'll say the same thing about Gidget. I get so many compliments on her. She's just got the best attitude, and she's so helpful. So I hear it as well on a regular basis. So thank you, Gidget, for all you do if you are watching. Let's see, City Attorney,
Nothing tonight.
City Commission. Go ahead.
First of all, along with this being our centennial year, it's Cocoa Beach High School's 60th class reunion. Had a gathering this past week, and I'm aware of it because Courtney, my wife Courtney's cousin, was part of that class that graduated in '65. Also, today is my son's 30th birthday. That's right, I was 9 years old, I believe, when he was born. Actually, he's not even half my age yet, so that's interesting. Friday Fest tomorrow. So everybody go to Friday Fest. It's tomorrow, third Friday every month, and I'm sure it'll be hot, but they'll have ice-cold beverages there for you to partake in. So that's all I've got.
So, there's no, let's see, okay. This is the fun part. So we're gonna take a temporary recess from the commission meeting, and we're gonna start our CRA meeting.
All right.
did quite a bit of research on this, and I feel comfortable with giving it to him, so I don't want to waste anybody's time if. I did quite a bit of research, there you go, wow, on this, so I feel very comfortable in my point of view on this one. I don't want to waste anybody's time, so I don't know if anybody else has anything to say.
I don't think we're wasting time by making this public.
Yeah, well, I'm saying as far as having him speak up on it.
Has he spoken to every citizen in Cocoa Beach?
You can speak on it if you want.
That's
yeah.
what I think should happen,
Okay.
rather than, us voting on something that only we know about.
Sure.
All right, you guys come on up.
Come on up, Derek.
Karen, if you could put it up.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Derek Howell. I'm the lead pastor of the Point Church. So thank you guys for the opportunity to share. Of course, we're seeking approval for the grant. I see our PowerPoint coming up. If you can kind of just go through each of the slides there so that you can see what the project that we're seeking. Of course, you could see this is from A1A. It's the first thing that people see when they drive past our building. It's been an eyesore for a long time. Continue through you'll see actually posts that have been made that have made it clear it's a building. We purchased the building in 2021, and we renovated the interior for a lobby and an auditorium. And this is the next phase. Our ultimate goal is to completely redo the exterior of the building. Oh, perfect. But now we're stepping into the first phase of the exterior, because we have to bite this off in bits that we can chew. And so we're asking for approval of $50,000 to just shy of $100,000 for the entire project to do. So you'll see the damage that is done to the building. It involves tearing down the existing drive-through, which is no longer working, so it'll tear that down. You also can see some of the damage to the stucco and the building. You can also see damage done to the parking lot. So the way this eventually, over time, the first step this does is completely take care of the parking lot itself. It removes the drive-through, which is a major eyesore, but also repairs a lot of damage, completely redoing the rear parking lot there that you see. This is the ultimate goal. There's some other things we wanted you to see the ultimate goal of the entire project, which would be after this is done. You'll see the difference between the current versus the goal. But this is the overview of that parking lot that will be changed. So the drive-through will disappear, and then you'll see right here what it's going to look like when it is done. Yes, sir.
Can you leave this slide up?
Yep. Sure can.
Okay, so I chatted with you on your way up the elevator, and there was a question about, you not paying property taxes to the city, so why should we give you money for something that's going to increase in value and not increase revenue to the city by the increase in property taxes by the value of your property going up?
Yep.
And you said that you were paying property taxes on parking area. So looking at this slide, what portion of the property is the portion that you're actually paying property taxes?
That parking lot, so the green, everything you see where the parking spaces and the green areas. However, I would like to say that, yes, we do pay property taxes. We pay partial property taxes on the building. We actually paid full property taxes the first 3 years after purchasing the building. And then we applied for exemption, but we wanted to do it right. So we explained that we do make income off of the parking lot. So we are a partial exemption. So, but I would prefer to argue that there are better reasons of why we qualify for this grant. We participate in many of the city events. We We bring in over 400 to 500 people to the city every single weekend who invest back into the community and the local businesses. They go to coffee shops, they go to lunch. We have several events like Night to Shine, the Thanksgiving outreach at Lori Wilson every single Thanksgiving Day. There are many things that we do to invest in this community. We are committed to being a good neighbor. And so just for the sake of any other nonprofit in the future that does not pay, that is exempt of property taxes, I would argue that they deserve to participate in this just like anyone else, and shouldn't be penalized because they are exempt.
But it's just that we currently have rules
Right.
about what you have to do to qualify.
Right, I
And
get that,
and
but
those are existing rules.
Yeah.
All the things you just said are great things, but they're not like in the rules as, some of them you could read it in. But I'm just saying, if the bulk of what you're doing this go-round
Yep.
is for the property that you are paying taxes on,
yes. Well,
then I'm good with it. But when you go to do the main building and all your final upgrades and all that, we'll have to have another conversation and change, maybe potentially change our criteria.
Right.
Because currently, the non-tax exempt property wouldn't meet our criteria.
Okay, I mean, that's fine, I think that's,
With that said, I'll move to approve this grant application.
all right.
We have a motion to discuss.
Yeah,
We need to pull
discuss.
off the board.
I can still get a second on my motion to approve.
No, we already have a motion on the table right now to discuss.
Well, we already,
Well, I don't think we're done discussing. We didn't finish asking the rest of the.
Right, we still have
Then
more
we didn't
discussion.
finish getting,
Okay.
so
Okay.
it's, I agree with you though, but,
Yeah, I've been concerned about this for those reasons that you brought up and explained. Also, it is, the CRA, the purpose of the CRA is redevelopment of blighted areas. I would consider that building blighted. And by improving that building, it also improves the look of the entire city. If we leave just one property just because it's exempt from taxes in that state, then we're doing it probably a disservice to the entire community for that. The fact that you're paying taxes on that parking is surprising, and I'd like to ask the attorney, do the other churches that have parking pay taxes on their parking?
they
Property?
don't rent it out. They
if
don't
in-
rent it out. See, they make a
Yes.
profit on it, so they have to pay taxes on it.
Yes, that's the distinction. Your normal church has a parking lot that nobody's in during the
No,
day
we-
or during the
We
week
have one on South First Street that does.
that does rent it out?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Then it should be paying
Okay, I'm just
taxes
checking,
on it.
just checking that,
Yeah.
that may be something we need to discuss, so. But from that perspective, I agree with this. One of the other issues I have is that we're not to give more than 50% of what the total amount is.
Right.
So we can't give you $50,000 of a grant if it's under $100,000 you're spending.
it goes by default. It goes.
Yeah, but here's how it goes. I've gone through this. So let's say miracle occurs and they can get all this done for $80,000. And they got all their receipts. They come to the city gives them 40,
Right.
okay? So if it's 99,000 and change,
I know it's a small
they
amount.
still get half.
It's
But if they
50%.
end up spending 110 to get it done, they still only get 50.
Right. That's just not what the numbers are showing here. It's showing under 100 and that they're requesting $50,000.
Yeah,
which
but
is
the
the
way
maximum.
that it works, Devin could tell you, the
I
way
know.
that it works is they only get paid 50% of what they spend up to a maximum of
We
$50,000.
did the same
I'm aware of that.
We
and
did the
that's what
same
I'm
for
bringing
Dirty
up.
Birds.
That's basically what I'm stating. And so I don't want there to be any confusion that, oh, why didn't we get 50,000? That's the max, and why didn't we get that? It's because it's 50% up to 50,000. So if you spend over 100,000, you'll get the max. I mean, it's approved by the commission, of course. Yeah, that's all I'm saying, Skip. I think we're talking the same thing, just cross them.
City Attorney, does the CRA specifically restrict the CRA investments or grants to tax-paying
Yes.
I-
Yes, but it says.
Honestly, I need to
Yeah,
look at that, because
I would
I
request you do.
would not want to
And
guess.
for the reason that, and if it does explicitly, then that's important. But
That's the requirements.
Is that in the packet?
No, it's just I requested for my research. And then I also did a property search on his property. The property that you're stating says that you, in fact, do pay ad valorem taxes on that whole parcel. You're paying ad valorem taxes on your parcel, which means, in my opinion, it doesn't split it. It doesn't split it. It's for that whole parcel.
Mr. Mayor, do you mind if I share this with?
Yes.
And the part that the mayor's referencing is, one of the bulleted items says must pay ad valorem taxes on the property, and it does say it explicitly.
So when you look up his parcel of property on Brevard Property Appraiser, you'll pull up this whole parcel and you show that he does pay ad valorem taxes for that entire parcel.
And so I think on that basis, so I
But-
think that's
but-
good, and I think
I
the
think-
other piece of that, where he qualifies, and that's important, the CRA talks about improving the walkability and the visibility. I think we also, looking in context of the CRA, we invested in cultural green space, and I think to Pastor's point, bringing folks into the city, it's not solely based on taxability, which they do qualify, but the ability to improve the walkability and the facade of the city, as well as the draw of bringing folks in that benefit our local businesses. I think those are also important factors that I think do apply here.
Would this be a good time to make my motion to approve?
I still want to see if we have any other public
Well,
comment.
we can do that after the motion.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve up to $50,000.
Second.
All right, motion and second. Any public comment on this? Okay. Like I said, to me, I did my research. I read through every single requirement. I checked with the Brevard Property Appraiser. This project and the pictures that he's supplied to me, I think he's 100% worthy of this grant. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Now, I will say, it looks like you had a question about the other church property with the parking?
No, I don't want to discuss that right now.
Okay,
That's something that we'll look into later.
Okay.
Possibly, but
there we go.
Well, they're not asking for a grant.
no.
So, we can discuss that later.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if you want to talk about it. All right, where are we at now?
Number
Item
H3.
3, request approval of a commercial visual improvement grant in the amount of $25,000 for the Catalyst Shop located at 109 North Orlando Avenue, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32931. Staff Representative Devin Talley, Deputy Finance Director, CRA. Recommendation approved.
I'd like to see more of a presentation than what I have in my packet before I make a motion to approve.
So I do have Eric here from the Catalyst Shop to talk about his project, and Karen, if you could pull up the picture as well, that's listed in one of the attachments.
Come on up.
Thank you, Eric Crowngold, General Manager of Catalyst Surf Shops in the area. Less of a drastic facelift for us, but deck has actually been replaced already. We thought, didn't do my due diligence on how to go about applying for the grant, so we started it and then realized we needed to come present our case first. So we already replaced the deck. There's plenty of flashing on the roof that's rusting and leaking and kind of an eyesore, as well as that Spanish tile on the roof. not looking to replace it, just clean it, paint the building, and that's about it.
Do you have any pictures or renderings of what you want it to look like, or?
That is it. The current ones, I don't have good quality images of currently.
Okay.
So you're talking about replacing that Spanish,
No, it's currently very dark. That's just gonna be pressure washed. There's some flashing up above.
Yeah, okay.
Where it connects, you can't really see it in the image,
Right.
that we need to get replaced.
I just don't, you're asking for a $25,000 grant, I'm not seeing
So
fifty.
in total.
I'm not seeing $50,000.
Correct. In total, the quotes I got,
We don't
we're
have,
actually-
we don't have those quotes.
okay, so they're right around 20,000 in total. So our application would be for just about $10,000.
And how many quotes did you get?
Several, I'd have to break them down and I can bring those by and
'Cause I believe we're required to get 3 quotes.
per trade. So we didn't go, so all these are just sub quotes rather than, paying for a GC. It's all pretty,
Yeah, I don't think for somebody that wants to apply for a grant, they're required to have 3 quotes like the city asks for when we do stuff. But they have to be able to sell what they're asking for.
It was in the old, I haven't looked at the new, I just got a copy of the new requirements. It was in the old requirements, but I don't know what the new one is, so forgive me. I didn't realize the whole packet had changed.
So
from last time.
you're saying the quote you have is for $10,000?
20.
20, yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, I haven't broken them down in my application, but I could
So
bring
you're
those
asking
quotes
for
by.
up to $10,000?
Correct.
I mean, I think if he checks all the boxes and he's able to do it, I wouldn't mind giving you the money for it. I think it's.
Okay, well, the request was for 25,000 and now he's saying 10,000, so I'll move to approve $10,000 for the Catalyst Shop.
Second.
Located at 109 North Orlando Avenue, Cocoa Beach.
Motion and a second. Do you have anything else you wanted to say?
I think that about does it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other public comment on this? Okay.
And yeah, before we vote,
Yeah.
will you get with him before he leaves and just kind of explain the process of the expenditures, the dates the expenditures have to occur after today, you know, and they have to be in by a certain amount of time and, you know.
You have like 6 months in order to finish the project and stuff like that.
Yes, I can do that. And to answer your question, Mayor, it's 3 contractor bids or justification for why you don't have that.
Okay, that's correct. All right. I remembered something like that. Thank
Okay.
you.
Just that there's technicalities and people get caught up in it.
Okay, yeah, so,
Public comment?
sounds good. There was no public comment, it looks like. I already asked. So all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 4-0. All right. All right, the
Recess.
commission, we will reconvene with the commission meeting now.
Oh, how about that?
this next session, back to 25,000, rather than 50, just so that we can make sure, because it seems like we're starting to get more popular with it now. That way we can help more businesses out with it, rather than next year, it sounds like we would only have about 2 that we'd be able to give out, rather than more. So I don't know, I should have done it during the CRA meeting, but I
We
just,
can't change that just in one meeting.
No,
Right.
it can be done by a resolution of the CRA.
right, so I don't know how we should go about it, but I just wanted to put that on everybody's radar, that
Put
that's,
that on the agenda for next.
okay. And we'll put that on the agenda for next year.
And that's what it used to be.
Right. I just want to make sure that we can help more people, because next year is going to be a little limited. Okay, sorry. Number 1.
Okay, this is unfinished business. Item 1, approve the replacement rooftop unit, RTU, HVAC system for the police department in the amount of $50,390 from Southeast Services of CFL Inc. 4 proposals were received for this unit. Southeast Services performs work for the City of Cape Canaveral, Brevard County School Board, and Port Canaveral, among others. This is not a budgeted item in fiscal year '25. Staff Representative Brad Calzo, Water Reclamation and Public Works Director, West Mullins, Chief of Police, recommendation approved.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any public comment?
John Dillon, Cocoa Beach. If you'll remember last meeting, I brought up a subject about the concerns of what this caused this. It's called environment corrosion. And I also stated, does this requirement is part of the what it calls C coating to prevent the problem it has? Has that been included with this package, or is it not? If not, it needs to be modified so it can be for that.
It has.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, so supposedly it's been included. And I will say that this company I've known for a long time as well. They are great, and they came in almost 15,000 less than what we had budgeted for previously. So I think this is a good thing. Any other public comment? All right. Any commission comment?
That's good.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Number 2.
Okay, new business, approve ordinance 1698 on first reading, an ordinance of the City of Cocoa Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 26.5 Vacation Rentals of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Cocoa Beach, revising provisions as to occupancy to prevent the use of vacation rentals as party houses and to not include infants under 2 years of age in the occupant count, and providing for conflicts, codification, severability, and an effective date. Staff Representative David Dickey, Development Services Director, recommendation approved.
Move to approve as read.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any public comment?
Ms. Scott.
Sure, come on, Janice.
Talk about the ordinance? Well, I always enjoy the discussion about the ordinance and tell the public what it's about. Janice Scott, Cocoa Beach. Okay, so I'm asking that you insert something in this ordinance that will prevent renting vacation rentals when there's a hurricane approaching. So there are not hurricane party people coming here. You know, when you stay at a hotel, the hotel shuts down, or you get guidance if you're a guest at a hotel about what to do and how to do it. If you're at a house somewhere, you don't get that. And I think that would be really important, given the numbers of vacation rentals. I think they mentioned, someone mentioned it somewhere now, in the single family between 500 and 700. So that's what my comment is. I made a comment earlier about hurricane evacuation, and it is a serious thing for Category 4 and above. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. Yeah, come on up, sir. State your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
Riley Goldman, 485 North Shore Drive. So 12 years ago, I remember your dad coming in to Cocoa Beach High and giving a speech about a plane, right? And how a year, how if you're 1 or 2 degrees off of where you want to go, you end up in the middle of nowhere. All right? I don't think the city commission right now has a plan. We are putting in a $300 million hotel that's going to hold 5,000 people on convention centers that are going to come to Cocoa Beach every single day, every single week. There's going to be 5,000 new residents every three days. And we're funding that. Our Brevard County is giving $30 million to that project, right? What's frustrating to me is all the acts are being put in place for these vacation rentals, right? They're discriminatory, like genuinely. This act says that within 15 minutes, if someone comes to the house for over 15 minutes, they become an occupant. All right, I rent, not gonna lie, over 150 rentals in city of Cocoa Beach that I manage for other people, all right? I have local people always ask me, hey, my mom needs a place to stay. Am I supposed to tell them you can't visit your mom now because you're gonna be over the resident amount? She can't come visit you? Should I tell them, hey, you know what, you need to stay somewhere else and you can't allow and you can't support? I have 75 employees, right? Well, if people can't rent out and people can't visit them, all right? I can't rent 2 Airbnbs and then I can't go over. Tim, is it true? You invited me to your house for your son's birthday party this weekend. Yep. Does that mean over 8 people are gonna be at your house?
We might have had a few more than 8.
Okay. Why is he allowed to have over 8 people, but then someone else doesn't? Now, I get it. I've had over 28,000 stays in the last 5 years, and I've had one party that was truly like a big party, and only one time has a cop been called due to noise ordinance, and I have noise monitors in every single one of my units, and I immediately contact the guests, and I have 24/7 support contacting any single time there's noise over a certain decimal range after 9 p.m. Why isn't that a regulation we're putting in? Why aren't we mandating noise monitors in our units? Why are we allowed to throw parties as local residents, but then the neighbor, if they play music at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, they're gonna be fined? Why is it that if someone parks in front of a vacation rental, they can get a ticket for parking on the street, but I can throw a party at my house? If my friends come over, they're not gonna get ticketed. And there's no warning. I've never been ticketed once in Cocoa Beach for having a car parked on the street, but I've received 2 in the last month. Like, it's discriminatory. At some point, it's discriminatory, all right? And look, congratulations on your son's 30th. I love Tyson. He's the greatest person on the planet. I'm a local resident. I know I'm over time, but at some point, I really mean it. Like, if it's just, what direction are we going in? Are we gonna do it $300 million and have 3,000 people? Or are we gonna be like, all right, at what point are we gonna become a party town? Why do we allow drinking on the beach? There's no direction. Like, either make it a small little beach town, or make it like just accept it as it is, and like, hey, they're legal here and we gotta accept it, and that's what pays everyone bills. Everyone's hospitality industry here, everyone benefits from it. Everyone who owns a local restaurant benefits from people coming to this town. And the more and more we make that difficult, 5 years from now, we're gonna be saying, oh damn, why did all the restaurants go out of business? And it's gonna be like, oh, well, we didn't want the visitors. I'm sorry, I'm done.
Thanks, Charlie.
Real quick, I don't know if I misunderstood what you said in the beginning. Did you say that my dad came up here high?
I'm not high.
No, you said my dad came up here high?
He came to Cocoa Beach High.
Cocoa Beach High.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he gave a speech at Cocoa Beach High. Ms. Fernandez.
Okay, all
Sure,
right.
I was
Because
like,
me and Ann look at each other like.
12 years ago?
I'm like,
No.
you're trying to get me on your side, and you're talking about my dad?
Yeah,
Okay.
my apologies.
All right, no problem. All right, I just want to clear that up, because
Came to Cocoa Beach High.
my dad is the preacher at Club Zion Church, and ever since he became saved, I have never, ever seen him high. So, before he was saved, he used to get high.
So,
Any other public comment? Okay, I'm not, I want to discuss a little bit here.
I do too.
Okay. I mean, I think you bring up some great points, and honestly, I wasn't the one that brought this forward, so I wasn't really particularly for this, but with there's gonna be people that live in their Airbnbs as well, and so I have a concern that if you have people living in the Airbnbs, like, what are you gonna do, like, if they have, like you said, they wanna have people come over and this and that?
This, when it's owner occupied, this provision doesn't apply.
I mean,
It doesn't
it didn't
apply?
say that,
Yeah, it does.
does it? I didn't read that.
I'd have to,
And even
Wait a
if,
minute.
even if the owner, even if it was owner occupied and it wasn't for them, there's not an owner in this city that would allow a house party while they're living there. They would say, you guys are gonna get me kicked out. So I would say, at the least.
yes, okay. Wait a minute.
I mean, I get the reason behind it, but I think if it's owner occupied, this shouldn't apply at all, for one.
And, okay, I believe it's in there that it doesn't apply for owner occupied, but if it's not there, it will be for second reading.
I think as long as the owner
Pretty
is
sure
on the
it's-
property, it shouldn't apply, period.
Could we, yeah,
Are-
could we have?
Yeah, Dave, if you wanna
Dave
come up?
come up and
Yeah.
give an explanation? I've got a couple of questions also.
Good evening. Yeah, I mean, I hear all of the issues that were raised by the speaker. I'm just here to let the commission know that from a staff perspective, we certainly get a lot of complaints from residents about what we're deeming party houses. And this is an attempt to address that issue. We have a lot of complaints about, and the issues are mostly parking out in the streets, and noise and garbage and all the things that would come along with party events going on in residential neighborhoods. So,
Are the complaints that you're getting predominantly after 10 o'clock or before 10 o'clock at night?
before 10 o'clock.
Okay.
We have a lot of photos that were provided from residents, and they're all during the day.
I found the place where it is located. It's in section, and we're not changing it. This is already in there. It's section 26.5-53. And the maximum occupancy restriction as set forth above shall not apply when the property owner occupied by the vacation rental owner. So it does not apply when they're there.
Did you want to go next?
Go ahead.
I just want to address a couple things. First of all, I'm in support of the ordinance as written. I understand the speakers saying that, you know, all these people coming here and staying in Airbnbs are helping the economy and all that, and restaurants and bars, and, you know, everybody's staying in business because all these extra people are here that don't feel like cooking. But, you know, to continue to encourage an exponential growth in Airbnbs in our city is going to hurt our community, because we'll no longer have families here, which means we'll no longer have kids here, which means we'll no longer have schools here, which will be more detrimental to the overall economy, property values, and everything else to the city than this particular restriction on Airbnbs to try to make them more residential friendly. So I continue to support it. As far as the comment about putting in language saying that, you know, at a certain point, when a hurricane gets to a certain point, you know, in the bubble, in the square, however you want to say it, that you have to tell these people to cancel the reservations. If I own an Airbnb property and there's a storm coming, I'm not going to want to be liable for people being there and for allowing them to come there into harm's way. I don't want to be liable for that. And, you know, if it's not completely 100%, you know, hurricane glass and hurricane protected, I'm going to want to go shutter the place up, and nobody's going to stay in it all shuttered up to begin with. So I don't think they're, you know, this thing about hurricane parties, you know, if people decide to stay here during mandatory evacuation and hunker down, they'll be partying by themselves or maybe with a couple neighbors in their house because all the bars and businesses are gonna be shut down because we do that. The only thing that'll stay open till the last minute is the fire department and the police department.
Hunker Down's,
That's what I was gonna say, except for
Hunker Down's
Down.
full. And, and Jonathan's is full.
Okay.
I don't want to discriminate.
Anyway,
against Jonathan's.
I just don't think the argument of adding a special section in here to say they have to cancel reservations, whatever. I think the people that would be staying there, if they're respectable people, are gonna say, I'm not gonna go rent a place for a hurricane party and bring a bunch of people there when we may not be able to get back off the island, you know? It's just, I'm not willing to add that between the first and second reading. Could be discussed further in the future, but I'm willing to pass this as is.
Becky, go ahead.
I can tell you that, because the West Coast has suffered hurricanes a lot more recently than we have, in cities that my firm represents on the West Coast, and we represent 3 barrier island cities over there. When a hurricane is coming, that's normally one of the requests they make to us is to we draft emergency orders for them, which we would if a hurricane were coming here. There'd be a declaration of emergency and there'd be hurricane based emergency orders. One of the first emergency orders is all vacation rentals, the people have to leave. And you have those powers during an emergency. You don't have to put it in your base ordinance.
We've done that here before.
I doubt it.
I honestly don't remember
No,
whether
we've done emergency orders.
Oh, of
You had
course.
special
Of
meetings
course,
and emergency
absolutely.
orders.
I just don't remember if we've done one having to do with vacation rentals.
I would suggest that we put a paragraph in the registration when they sign, that they need to follow state and city requirements during evacuation notices and all that, just so it's there, that they signed it, yep, they're supposed to follow these rules, and they're gonna be following
I
those
agree
rules.
with you, and we.
And
we
that
would
doesn't need
insert
to be in
that.
an ordinance, that's just in the
Yeah,
document
and-
that they sign.
And I think that's a great idea, but even if we didn't have that,
Yeah,
that
it
would
doesn't
probably be one of the first emergency ordinances or emergency orders you would want to adopt.
Okay, any other commission comment?
Yes.
Okay.
15 minutes. Can you, Dave, if you could explain the 15-minute rule, 15 minutes of, an occupant is to be considered an occupant if they're there for 15 minutes? Why that's in there? Or can you, Becky, or?
We could change that to a half hour or an hour, but, we don't want parties going on, and we also don't want the police officer to have to stay there in time. How long have this group of people been there?
So it's an enforcement.
It's an enforcement issue, but I think we could put really any number in there. It would just be part of the violation that the officer would have to say, the code officer or the police officer would have to say that in fact they observed that the people were there for more than 15 minutes, a half hour, an hour, 2 hours, whatever it might be.
Go ahead, Wes.
Hi, Wes Mullins, Police Chief. Yeah, it's tough. I'm in complete support of doing something that Dave is trying to actually do here. It's gonna give us more teeth. The time is a good point, but it's almost like chalking a tire on parking, right? Like, how do you know?
Right.
And how do we prove that? How do we prove that when we go in and go out of a house? Are we gonna sit inside of somebody's house for 15 minutes with a body cam on and count to 15 minutes? Are we not? Like, proving those things and walking down that lane, going downstream on the actual ordinance is important, because it's important that we actually have to be able to enforce the thing, right? But as far as that or nothing, I completely support Dave's ordinance, completely 100%, because we have to do something. He's getting a ton of complaints, so are we. And they are during the day. So I just want to keep in mind that just because we make the ordinance, there's still the enforcement side of it. And it's a great point, Commissioner, but whether it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, it has to be something. So that, that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Thanks.
One quick comment, Mayor, is that also this is there's always going to be officer discretion involved. We just don't have the staff to go out and enforce this on every Airbnb in the city. I mean, this will more than likely be driven by complaints. And so that will alert us of a possible violation. Officers will go out and look, and we'll be able to have this tool in our tool chest to work with it. But so, yeah, I don't anticipate going out and overly enforcing this code. This will be really more complaint driven.
It's a tool in your toolbox.
Yes.
It's not that we have Airbnb, Gestapo,
Correct.
It's like, if there's 12 people there and there's supposed to be 6, and somebody complains about it, by the time the police get there, they've probably been there an hour already. So the police only has to stay there for 30 minutes or 15 minutes now to observe more than the 6 people, and then they can act.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm willing to live with it as is.
And real quick, Wes, I mean, do you guys actually do chalk tires for checking on times for things?
For the
No, that's just
90-minute parking?
That's just kind of an old school term that our parking
Yeah.
guys do. We have a little bit more technology now than that time, but I'm just kind of draw the analogy there. But you are correct, Commissioner. The squeaky wheel will get the grease on this one. If they're loud and they're a pain, we will be there and we will make sure that we get the time right? Yeah. But if they're not causing a problem, Dave's completely right. We will use complete discretion. And, we're not here to be the Gestapo, like you said. So, all right.
And the other thing is, it'll get rid of those pesky salesmen that won't leave. If they've been there,
Yeah.
so you say, you've been here 13 minutes and you gotta go.
It's just giving us something to use if we have to use it.
That's all.
All right.
Please.
Yep.
And
Go ahead.
well, I was gonna say, normally you get one time to speak, but I mean, you do own, or you do manage 150 units, and you seem like you wanted something else to say, so I want you to have your say. You said.
Riley.
Yeah.
Before you come out, I just want to commend you for, go ahead, come on up. You were at the meeting a couple years ago when we started this process of Airbnb restrictions and whatnot. And, at that time you said you had these decibel readers in your houses, so you get advised, you get a notification if it's getting too loud in your residence. And I appreciate that, and you're following all the rules. And now we're changing some of the rules, or a lot of the rules. But not everyone follows through like that and runs their Airbnbs like you do. It's unfortunate, but that's the case, and that's what our concern is.
So my thing would be like doing it at night. Like, say at 9 p.m., you have 15 minutes. If there's too many people, that's gonna be easy to get over, but like, what if it's Thanksgiving? They're having their family over for Thanksgiving. Are we because we have some and you guys keep on using, there's a lot of complaints. Well, I can call code enforcement on my neighbor every single day if I want to, right? Anytime there's any issue. And if someone's like, I hate that neighbor, I'm gonna call the cops every time someone pulls in. I think there's 6 people in there when there's only allowed to be 4. Like, you guys are going out because of whatever the residents want to do. And in terms of safety and like cops being called and your guys' time, energy, and effort, I own 115 long-term rentals where I rent to long-term residents in Cocoa Beach. All right, I have way more 911 calls to my long-term residents due to drug issues, due to evictions, due to all sorts of things that long-term residents are doing. And I will gladly record every single time I call 911 to my long-term units and to my short-term units, and then compare how many times are you guys actually going out? Because you're just going off of, oh man, I get this call a lot. Well, what statistics are we using to make this decision, right? What statistics are you using to write up an ordinance to be able to say, or is it just like, hey, everyone comes to a commission meeting and saying, I hate Airbnbs, and I understand your argument of, hey, run away. Did you know long-term residents in Cocoa Beach has only dropped by 2% over the last 5 years, on average? 2%, right? The only difference is, I'm born and raised Cocoa Beach. I used to have 4 vacant homes on where there are summer homes for people in the Hamptons, or winter homes for people in the Hamptons. Only difference is they rent them out now, What is the long-term difference of happening in Cocoa Beach? And what statistics are we making when we're making these decisions? And like, who are you asking? Are you asking the people who are just saying, I hate it? Or are you asking people like me or Happy Palm Say who are actually renting these units out, all right? And hey, these homeowners are paying their property taxes too. They are. They're paying for your property taxes, and property taxes are going outrageously through. So you guys can have beautiful buildings like this. But like, make it so at night, you know what? Complain all you want. And I agree with you. I don't want someone throwing a party at 2 a.m. as little as you do. I want it less. That's why I have noise monitors. And I'm done.
Thank you. The main issue is, a typical residence will have a party maybe a couple times a year. Usually when you go somewhere on vacation, you're there to party and have fun. And the problem is you have people renting multiple times a week, and they're there to party. They're there to have fun. So the problem is, it's like, how do you know, I'm for less government regulation. I hate the thought of adding regulation. I mean, but there needs to be some type of protection for the residents. And this is where I'm really torn, because I don't like government oversight and regulation. But at the same time, I want to make sure that the residents can live in their residential homes without being, burdened by people that are on vacation. So that's where I get torn on this issue. I personally would be fine too with changing the time, so that I'm okay with that as well. But I don't know if the rest of the commission would consider that.
I think we start with it as written.
Okay. Any other commission comment? We're all good to.
I think we covered it pretty good.
Okay.
I think we did. I think what we have here is we're giving the code enforcement and police tools to use at their discretion. When there's a situation, they don't want to escalate it. Said, hey, you need to break this up. There's too many people here. It's an Airbnb, blah, 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 and give them an opportunity. And that allows them to do that with the numbers that are in this ordinance.
Do you know, Chief, do we have any provisions for people that are basically nuisance callers? One particular person that calls on their neighbor over and over and over. Can we somehow have some kind of protection on for some of this stuff?
We did see that with noise ordinance.
With noise ordinance, we had a problem with that, and it still continues to this day. And I feel like we're not some of the actually the worst actors.
It's a First Amendment right. It's freedom of speech.
Yeah, but
you got a phone number you can call and
at some point,
complain.
you're being a nuisance.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And you're using resources that don't need to be used.
So, I don't want to paint with a broad brush here, okay? So, let's be specific to your question. Within the ordinance, if anybody does, there's state statute now, correct me on this, but if you make an ordinance violation complaint, you are not allowed to do it anonymously, okay, at all. So that has to be tracked, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two, there is no, to the commissioner's point, violation of calling 3 or 4 times. Now, you can misuse 911, right? That's another issue. Our folks are pretty good at de-escalating those types of situations, though. I don't want to, talk this up like it's some big issue that it doesn't happen. When we come out, we talk down noise violations. We just did one the other day. There was a loud party out there. We talked them down, asked them to turn it down. They were fine. There's other times where they don't turn it down. This just helps us out. That's all it does.
And he'll get anybody that will get a verbal warning first to make sure.
Yeah, of course.
And they'll get a reasonable amount of time to comply.
Yeah, I will back our officers and code enforcement officers if people deserve whatever they get, right? But we will try to just mitigate that behavior down to a reasonable offer and just get compliance. We're not here to, hit anybody hard with tickets or anything.
Okay.
Okay?
I just want to make sure that we're being fair.
And all that's public record, by the way. Whoever calls is public record.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right, I think we're good. So all in favor of this ordinance Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes 4-0. That was a tough
Okay.
one. That was a tough one for me, honestly, because like I said, I wrestle between government oversight and you know, personal responsibilities and all that, so. But thank you for speaking your mind, and I really, I appreciate it, and I did listen hard. All right.
Okay, item 2, accept the engineer's recommendation of award for the bid submitted by CK Contractors and Development LLC in the amount of $2,214,480 for bid number CB 25-005, A1A Sewer Pipe Replacement Project. Allow staff to enter into contract with CK Contractors and Development LLC. This is a budgeted capital project. Staff Representative Brad Calzo, Water Reclamation and Public Works Director, recommendation approved.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. This is for our sewer pipe we got running through A1A and other areas that are badly needing repair. In case anybody didn't know what this was about. If you got any public comment, you're free to come up. Okay, any commission comment?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Next, city attorney. That's it. So that's it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah,
That was removed because the complete commission
Yeah.
is not here.
I see that, yep. All right,